Hey there, this is Two Grownups and a Mouse with AJ and Andrew. Today is episode number 1. We will be talking about ourselves. Just a little introduction for you into who we are.
Everything Disney in and out of the house. Two grownups and a mouse.
And again, welcome to Two Grownups and a Mouse. I am AJ.
And I'm Andrew.
Good job. Andrew's not a big talker. You'll kind of pick up on that.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Except for when he talks about Disney. Or watches or cars, but mostly Disney. If you start him talking about Disney, then he really talks a lot. He can talk about that. He can really get into talking anything Disney.
For at least 30 or 40 seconds.
At least.
At least.
Except for you're more into the history of Disney. Like if someone was asking about Disney, you could tell them about Walt and about...
he was a man.
That's amazing.
He used to draw stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, we haven't gone into One Man in His Dream in a while, so...
Oh, that's all you remember?
That's all I remember.
It's more than I remember because I don't usually remember a lot. But yeah, you're the more historical fact Disney, and I'm the that's really cute kind of Disney kind of person.
The cute Disney person?
Well, I like things that are Disney and are cute.
Oh.
That's why I collect things.
Is that why we collect things?
Well, because I'm a purchaser and you're an enabler. That's why we collect things.
Yeah, it sounds like we need help is what it sounds like.
That might be the case, but it's really funny because people think that, they look at our attire and see all the Disney that we wear and the jewelry and the shirts and the hats and all of our attire. It's all Disney. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it.
Most of it.
Yeah, a lot of it. And people look at me, oh my God, you're not wearing Disney today. And then, they see a picture of our snow globe collection or our cells, our hand-painted cells, or, the Star Wars display. They see all these displays and they're like, oh my God, you have so much Disney. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's lots of people out there that have a lot more Disney stuff than we do.
Yeah, we're lightweights.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's just, everything's relative, I guess. But when did we start? We started going to Disney. We should really,
In 2000 and... Well, no, the first time was probably still 2003, the year we met.
Yeah.
But we didn't... I think it was probably still another... We only went once or twice, and then we had a bigger trip that was in the winter. I don't remember if that was in 2004 or 2005.
No, we can...
It might have been 2004.
Yeah, that was... When we met in 2003, and actually, the first park we went to wasn't Disney. Dun, dun, dun! But we went with friends. We went to Universal. That was the first park we went to together.
That's true.
But that's okay. We don't have to... We need not talk about that again.
We don't need to speak of it ever again.
No, because we don't usually go to Universal. I don't even remember the last time I went there. And it's a great park, and I am not speaking poorly of them. It's just not our cup of tea.
That is correct.
Yes. But we go to Disney, so we met in 2003, and when we first started going, as you were just saying, we went on a longer trip. And I think that that's basically what we did, like 1 or 2 longer trips per year.
Well, no, the first time we went, you had gotten, for where you were working, they wanted you to deliver something to...
That was the first time we went to Disney?
It was.
Oh. Yes, I had a videotape to deliver to Central Florida Toyota.
Yep.
Shout out to Central Florida Toyota.
There you go.
If it wasn't for them, we might not love Disney as much as we do.
Probably, but still. I think we probably still would have made it up there once or twice.
Yeah, right.
That was a trip where we stayed at a really crappy Ramada.
Correct. Ramada Westgate.
Yeah.
And that was in 2003, which was 15 years ago. So again, hopefully that has improved since then.
I would hope so, but it wasn't a cheap hotel. And then we decided we were going to stay another night. So we went and did a timeshare pitch because as the guy was yelling at us in the hotel lobby about giving us tickets and this or that or whatever else, we said, how about $100?
That is correct.
And he said, okay.
That,
So we went to the timeshare thing, and then we found another hotel to stay at the next night.
and we stayed at the one with the lights up the side.
Yeah, the
Suites.
Buena Vista Suites.
Thank you.
And actually, it was a nice hotel. We stayed there a few times.
Yes, no, it was very nice. But we got the special, the $99 room, which it's because it's right by the elevator.
That's correct.
Which, if we were to stay there now, that wouldn't be a problem because I use an iMask and earplugs, and the earplugs would help the elevator sound.
Right.
You not so much.
I don't hear the elevator, so I don't have a problem.
It was pretty loud, but it was a $99 a night for a nice size suite. I mean, that's a really nice hotel in a pretty good location too.
Yeah, it's right off whatever Epcot Way.
But I did not realize that was our first.
The very first Disney trip.
Wow, time flies.
Me and my memory.
Right, but that was 2004 then, because I started at the company in July of 2004.
That's probably, yeah, that would make sense. And then that first longer trip was either that late winter or early 2005.
Right.
Because we stayed for almost a week, I think, in one of the All-Stars.
Was it All-Stars or was it Animal Kingdom Lodge? Because we used to pay...
No, one of those very first trips was All-Stars, because somebody didn't like staying at, why spend all that money when they're hardly ever in the room? And then
my views have since changed.
Well,
it's amazing how in 15 years your views over different things might change.
Well, everything changed because we used to take the bus everywhere. That changed because we got tired of waiting around or getting stuck in massive lines. And, as much as we like Disney, we don't like crowds. The
buses are great. One day we'll get into a longer conversation on Disney buses and Disney transportation and the pros and cons of everything. I mean, though we prefer not to take the buses, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the buses.
No, there's nothing wrong with the buses, but it all depends on the hotel you come from. So,
correct.
And at the time, All Stars all shared the same bus.
Right.
So the buses got really busy at closing time or opening or natural times of people leaving, like after a fireworks or whatever else.
Right. But they've made a lot of improvements on the bus system, even very recently, where now when you go to the bus stop, you can actually see how long it's going to be for the next bus to get there. And they update that frequently. So
I think it's done in real time.
Correct.
I think it's just, you can walk up to it and it's, 5 minutes. Okay.
So if you don't have your own car, Disney transportation is excellent, but it's just, you have a few more options when you have your own form of transportation.
Sure.
But yes, things definitely have changed. There are definitely things that have changed over the past 15 years when it comes to us and our fondness of Disney.
That's correct.
Our fondness for all things Disney.
Yep.
So let's see. So that was when we first started, we were saying we did longer trips. Mm-hmm. And as the years have gone on, instead of going, because I think even in 2007, when we got married and I wrote a blog post about our honeymoon, which was not Disney and was not wonderful, but that's a story for another day. I even talked about how our Disney trips then became quarterly. So by 2007, we were starting to go up there on a more frequent basis.
Right. Well, part of it was also at the time because of the economy. We still hadn't fully gotten past 9/11, so travel was still kind of squashed. The housing thing was just blowing up, so we would go. They had crazy deals to go to Disney, but most of the time it meant going for longer periods. So if you stayed for a week, you'd get free food or a $500 gift card, or I think one time we got free food and a $500 gift card. So it would be, there was I think 1 or 2 trips where we didn't even stay the whole time because we didn't want to, and it was still cheaper just to leave an empty hotel room out.
Right.
So.
No, they had great packages then. So we went from 5-ish night trips to going quarterly. 3-ish, 3-4 night-ish trips, I think.
Give or take.
And now, 2018, 15 years later, we do mostly 1 and 2 night trips.
Yeah.
But
it's been more 2 night trips would do like a Friday, Saturday, or a Saturday, Sunday, or what have you. There was a time there where we just really did just a one-night trip.
But people need to know that we are in South Florida.
Well, that would probably be helpful, yeah.
Yeah, that's... No, there are a lot of people that fly that need to get on a plane, and they still go and do, monthly trips. But for us, being that we live about 200-something miles away, so it's a few-hour ride in a car, we're able to go once a month without having to take off work. Like, our next scheduled trip is this coming weekend, and we're planning on leaving work early.
Yep.
But if we can't for whatever reason, that's not a big deal, because even if we work the entire workday and drive up there, we'll still get there before downtown Disney Springs closes. Pulled in Andrew. It is not downtown Disney. It is Disney Springs. It is not MGM. It is Hollywood Studios.
It'll always be MGM to me.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Always.
That's unfortunate.
Downtown Disney.
But yeah, so we are able to go about once a month because it doesn't take us all that long to drive there.
Right.
And then what we started doing 2 years ago, no, it was a year and a half ago. It was October. In October of 2016.
Yep.
That's when we went on our first Disney cruise. And we were going to meet a couple for dinner at Disney Vero Beach. It was someone we had met through Facebook. We were going to meet them in person. Unfortunately, they had to cancel, but we said, you know what? We've never been to Disney Vero Beach.
We always said that we were going to go there.
Right. We thought, let's check it out. So we started going. That trip, we went to Disney Vero Beach to get dinner. And it was really nice.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the restaurant wasn't even the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, at the time, because they were in the middle of renovations.
We sat outside the bathroom.
Yeah, we sat in a...
It
Actually,
was the hallway
it was the
outside the
hallway.
bathroom.
Yeah.
But it was fine. I mean, the food was nice. The service was nice. The Disney ambiance was nice.
Right.
And so after that particular trip, that's when we started stopping by Disney Vero on the way home. Even though it's not really on the way home. It's a little bit out of the way, but not too far.
Well, it's way out of the way, but who cares?
Well,
adds an hour to the trip.
I was just going to say, it's less...
Well, the whole trip is only 3 hours. Adding an hour is...
Right,
that's a pretty good chunk. But
not including whatever time it would take us to eat. Travel time, it's less than an hour.
Yeah, basically.
So, and that's basically what we've been doing.
Yeah.
For the past year and a half now. I mean, sometimes we skip it, but most of the time, instead of driving straight home and stopping for fast food somewhere, we've been stopping at Disney Vero Beach to get that last inch of Disney.
That's right.
That last morsel of Disney goodness.
Well,
but that's another thing that we are very, very fortunate to have. Disney goodness. We are less than 5 miles away from a Disney store.
Yep.
One of the few that's left. Unfortunately, they've closed a lot of them. They do a lot of their business online now at shopdisney.com.
Which is weird because they said they were redoing all their stores. So
Yeah.
who knows whether the stores will survive long enough to be redone.
That is hard to say.
Yeah.
But I'm very fortunate that we're, within 5 miles of that. And even more fortunate that we're within 10, 20 miles of a Disney Character Warehouse, one of their outlet stores.
Yep.
So not only can we go to Disney once a month and go to the Disney store, go to the Disney outlet, and shop Disney and shop Disney parks and, oh my goodness, and vans for the, Disney vans, like the Marvel ones that just came out, and Toms for the Disney Toms that just came out, but I haven't bought those yet, but don't be surprised if you see a box coming soon. Just saying.
Which really means you bought it already.
No, I really didn't. But
okay.
It is in my cart.
Oh.
But I don't really need them.
We don't need a lot of things, but that hasn't stopped anybody.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
And
yeah.
there's a Pandora store, which one of us may or may not have been to once or twice to buy
Pandora jewelry.
everything in the store.
And I'm not even a Pandora jewelry fan.
No.
But I do like their Disney merchandise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of great Disney shopping at non-Disney places.
Yeah.
We have friends that live in England that come to Florida to go shopping for Disney stuff,
Pretty much.
but they don't do their Disney shopping at Disney. They do some of it at Disney,
Well, they still do a lot. But
but no,
they
but
do a lot of it at Walmart and bookstores and CVS and Walgreens. And
Target, they love Target
yeah.
and they love Walmart, but they don't have Walmart. You don't have that over the pond. They do have Asda, I think it's.
Well, they have their own version.
Well, it's a supermarket,
Yeah.
but it's owned by Walmart, but it's not the same. But they have Primark.
Well, they can't call it Walmart because
Right.
then everybody thinks it's bad. So it's too
No.
American.
But England has Primark. However, I would say we don't have Primark. But I've heard that Primark has opened, I think, in the Northwest. Not somewhere other than Florida. There are Primarks opening up. Primark's a pretty cool store. I actually have a lot of stuff from Primark in my Disney display.
Okay.
I didn't buy any of it.
We should check that, except I'm not going to.
Check what? Oh, if there's a Primark open?
Yeah.
Well, trust me, if there was a Primark open, I would know. It's kind of like Five Below. Remember we went up to Orlando and it was like, hey, there's a store, Five Below. Now all of a sudden they're,
Everywhere.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They're also a good place for Disney merchandise.
Well, in Florida, you can't go anywhere without finding Disney merchandise. Less so here, but, last time we were up there, we went to Publix to buy a card, and the whole front of the store was Disney merchandise.
It was nice.
A grocery store
Yeah, but it
had
was
Disney shirts, Disney mugs, Disney towels, Disney everything.
Yeah, but it
Didn't need to go to Disney.
it was really nice, the stuff that was there. I mean, because they have stores off of 192 and the other local streets in the Disney World area that sell Disney merchandise, but it's discounted merchandise. It's off-brand merchandise. This was actual legal Disney merchandise.
Yeah.
And no, actually, we saw something at Publix, and then we saw the same exact shirt at Target.
Yeah.
So it was the same quality. It might have been a little different price, but they did have a lot of good Disney stuff there. So I think that tells you a little bit about us. Kind of gives you an overview of us, except it doesn't answer the burning question, which is why Disney? But we're not just talking about why Walt Disney World, why Disneyland, why Walt Disney World over Disneyland. I mean, that's another topic of conversation, but why Disney in general?
Yep.
So for me, when it comes to Walt Disney World, I enjoy going there because the majority of people that work at Walt Disney World are in the college program.
Right.
And so you're talking about kids that are, they don't just interview, but they have to go through this whole process to get accepted into the college program. And it's very competitive.
Sure.
So you have a bunch of people working at Disney that want to work at Disney. So they're in this college program making minimum wage plus housing. I'm not very familiar with all the specifics. I'm just giving generalities, but those are the people that work at Walt Disney World. So when you go to Walt Disney World, 9 times out of 10, the cast members that you come across, they're nice. They're really, because they want to be there and they're so pleasant. And you walk into a store and they greet you and it's just a nice feeling.
Well, it's more than just a job for them.
Right.
It's more than just a lower income job. It's not.
Right.
They want to be there, like you said.
Right. And then this, of course, is just my perception, but it's like, as we already talked about, we live in the South Florida area, so we are relatively close, and we have been able to go on a frequent basis, more frequent as time has gone on. And then I think that in and of itself is what brought our love of Disney out. And all of the, you go on the trips, and the more trips you go on, the more merchandise you purchase, and the more attire you purchase, and the more things you start to collect. So I think it just kind of happened naturally.
Right.
Due to the trips. And, for me, Disney, it brings out the child in me. It lets me, if you do something childish, then people kind of look at you. But if you do something Disney, then it's not childish anymore.
Well,
You know what I'm trying to say, though.
yeah, people
perception.
still, it's more accepted as
Right.
as an adult to still enjoy Disney.
Right.
People aren't going to look at you funny as if you were doing something more childish.
Right.
It's much more accepted.
Right. I mean, and we glazed over it that, yes, we do go to Walt Disney World relatively frequently, but, this podcast and our lives, it's not just Walt Disney World. I mean, I'm looking into our kitchen where I'm looking at a Disney cookie jar, little jar and Disney mugs, and I have mugs right in front of me, a mug display and a snow globe display.
Mug display. Let's see.
Well, multiple mug displays.
And each one holds how many mugs?
A lot.
Yeah.
And there's more in my craft room, Disney room. And we talked about my Pandora collection. We didn't even talk about my Dooney and Bourke Disney collection.
No, we shall not speak of that.
A few Disney Coach pieces and a few Disney Harvey pieces and Vera Bradley, But so, like I said, I think it stemmed from the Walt Disney World trips, but
of course,
it's just kind of blossomed and it really took over our lives because it could.
Well, it was a nice way. At first, it was a nice place to go to get away.
It's still a nice place to go to get away.
Well, yeah, but we're not beach people,
right.
And it's nice when you want to get away for a weekend or a few days. It's nice to go to some place that's resort-ish, as I always say. And
that kind of lends into the next subject,
right?
Which is what is this show?
Mm-hmm.
What are we? We do not have kids, unless you want to consider our cat a child, which she kind of is. She acts like a child sometimes.
Yeah, but not really a child.
Yeah, far from a child. No, we love her to death, but no, she is a cat, not a child. We do not have kids, but we love Disney. So we want to be able to share our experiences, all things Disney, be it the parks, the restaurants, the resorts, the merchandise, the things we buy at home, the things we do Disney related at home, the movies we see, anything related to Disney.
Yep.
With other people that may or may not have kids.
Well, it's one of the questions. I remember I used to work with somebody that could never understand why two adults would go to Disney. And as I started explaining it to him and talking about all the more grown-up things to do, he finally started to get it. He got it enough that he actually went there for a weekend to try it out with his wife, and then after that, he was hooked.
And it doesn't take much.
and Disney is much more than just standing in line for Snow White. It's fine dining. It's nice goods. It's going to a nice hotel. Maybe it's a spa day. Maybe it's getting your hair done, doing something, treating yourself. It could be anything.
Well, that's funny that you said it's not just about waiting in line for Snow White.
Right.
And people know that we go to Disney all the time, so they're always asking us questions, about this ride and that ride and this attraction and whatever and whatnot. Meanwhile, Toy Story Land opened 3 weeks ago. We still haven't been there.
Yep.
Now, granted, we do have a trip planned in the very near future, and hopefully we'll be able to get into Toy Story Land and look around. It's unlikely that we will get onto the rides, possible, but being that we know we'll be there next month and the month after that, it's okay if we don't get on it right now.
Right.
And the World of Avatar opened
more than a year ago.
Right. It opened a while ago, and we still haven't been on Flight of Passage.
Right.
So we love Disney, but we are not the typical, oh my God, I love Disney. I have to go get all my fast passes and I have to ride all the rides. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we enjoy those experiences when we go with friends.
Sure.
But when it's just the two of us, we have a more lackadaisical, we'll just see where the day takes us.
But we do have the benefit of being able to go often enough. If we only were able to go once a year or twice a year or whatever, less than we do now, we'd put more priority on going on rides.
But that's the funny thing, because our friends that go for 10 days, 2 weeks, however long their stays are, they plan everything out and they go on all these rides, and they go on more rides in their 10 to 14 day stay than we go in the entire year.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But either way, so this show talks about that. It's our experience and what we see, but it is, even though we do not have kids, it is kid friendly.
Sure.
There's nothing that we would talk about that would not be appropriate for someone, a child to listen to.
Right.
But it's adult friendly. It's childlike adults,
Sure.
adultish adults. Anybody that loves Disney or wants to know about Disney, or maybe you have questions about Disney,
Sure.
feel free to send it to us.
Yep.
So not only do we have this podcast, we do have a website,
Yep.
2 grownups and a mouse.
.com.
Pretty difficult. Why'd you have to make it so hard? Podcast is called 2 grownups and a mouse. Website's called 2grownups.com.
And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, all under 2 Grownups and a Mouse.
Oh my goodness.
It's very complicated. But, so, questions can all be asked in any of those. We'll try to find them and then try to answer.
That's the hard part.
Well,
To find them or to answer them, actually.
sure.
Exactly. So that tells you pretty much what you're going to want to know for right now. Tells you who we are, what we are. We hope that you enjoyed listening to our whole life story. But we have lots of life stories to tell you, so hopefully you'll come back and listen to more.
Yep.
As we just talked about, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please reach out to us. Any of those social media platforms.
On our website.
Yes.
Anywhere.
If you go to the website, there's an area where you can send us questions directly from the website.
Yep.
You can email us. You can use social media. There will be links to social media
Yep.
on the website. So please reach out to us. And again, questions, comments, suggestions. We're all ears, except for we're not all ears.
Well, no, we're not all ears.
Right.
They'll get mad at us.
But they are a very good resource.
Of course.
Allears.net.
Very good resource.
That's an awesome resource for if you want to have questions about Disney. I mean, that's a
They have everything on everything.
yeah. I still use that website
Yep.
for recipes and a lot of different Disney information. So, on our next episode, we will talk a little bit about hotels and our favorite resort, where I think it's both of our favorite,
Yep.
Coronado Springs. We'll talk a little bit about Tiffin's at Animal Kingdom,
Yep.
which we dined at once, and maybe we'll do it again
Yeah.
soon.
I liked it. It was
Yes,
good.
It was good. And then we'll talk a little bit about Food and Wine 2018, which is coming up.
Yep. Coming up in August.
Yeah. August 30th. So it's
soon.
Yeah, it's only about a month away.
Yep.
Which is we always go to Food and Wine because our anniversary is the end of September. So, and like we already said, we go about once a month. So we'll probably hit Food and Wine more than 2 times.
Well, Food and Wine is also going on for, what is it, 2 months, 3 months?
2.5 months.
So yeah, we'll probably be there a couple times at least.
Yeah, probably at least 2, but maybe
Maybe even
3.
Just kind of depends on how it works out.
Right.
For one year we were there. We had the fortunate of we somehow I don't know how we did it because we didn't plan it, but we were there for the first and last day of Food and Wine and Flower and Garden, which I don't know how we did it, but somehow it worked out that way.
Well, I think for Food and Wine that particular year, because they have extended it, it gets gradually bigger and bigger. And the one year we went for our anniversary trip at the end of September, and that was the first weekend.
Right.
And then we ended up going
Whatever, month
November,
and a
I
half
think it
or
was-
whatever it was later.
And it was the last weekend. So either way, so we will talk about those things in our next show. So hopefully you will be there listening to us. Thank you so much for listening to us. We hope you enjoyed it.
Good night.
And good night.
Or good day.
Yeah, that too.
Or good morning.
How about just goodbye?
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.